You know that feeling when something doesn't quite add up? When the people selling you the future seem to need you to believe in it a little more than the evidence actually warrants? That's what I've been feeling about AI. And so I've been doing the math to figure out why. Here's what I found. Here's a story that explains almost everything. In 2024, a company called Klarna built an AI customer service assistant for a couple $1 million. In its first month, it did the work of 700 human agents. The company projected $40 million in annual profit increase, paid for itself dozens of times over. That's the spreadsheet every CFO in America is staring at right now. That spreadsheet is why NVIDIA is now worth more than $5 trillion. It's why 7 tech companies, only 7, now make up more than a third of the entire S&P 500. It's why your pension, your 401k, your retirement savings, which all invest in the S&P 500, those are all now leveraged bets on artificial intelligence. And nobody asked you. Nobody asked you when your teacher's pension, your firefighter's fund, your state retirement system quietly became collateral for a bet you never consented to. Because here's the thing about that Klarna story. By 2025, Klarna was quietly rehiring humans because the AI couldn't handle complex disputes, fraud claims, anything requiring real judgment. The ratio that looked so beautiful on the spreadsheet fell apart the moment the work got real. That's the entire AI economy in miniature. It works on the easy third of almost any job. The debt was priced as if it works on the whole job. And that gap, that's where the danger lives. Here's what I mean. JP Morgan projects $5.5 trillion in global AI infrastructure spending by 2030. 4.1 trillion of that is financed through debt, not cash. Now, that difference sounds abstract, but here's what it actually means. When a company borrows money, it owes 2 things: the principal, the original amount, and the interest, just like your credit card. Interest is rent, charged every single year just for the privilege of having borrowed the money at all. Skip an interest payment even once, and you're in default, even before you've touched the principal. The lender doesn't care how brilliant your business plan is, they want their check. On $4.1 trillion in debt at conservative interest rates, we're still talking $250 billion or more every single year just to stay current, before a single dollar of the original debt gets paid back. This is why the CEOs of the AI companies are so full of hype. This is what's driving their desperate, urgent, panicked marketing campaign to get you to believe everything they say. They're trapped because that $250 to $300 billion per year has to come from somewhere real. The only place it can come is from customers paying for AI products at a scale that generates that much actual cash flow. And the only proven way AI generates that kind of return right now is by displacing tens of millions of jobs. Not gently assisting, displacing. So if AI does what the financing requires, if it replaces enough jobs fast enough to make that math work, that is a historic, unprecedented social, political, and economic crisis. Mass layoffs, fewer paths into a career, a generation locked out of the ladder before they ever got a hand on it. But if AI doesn't do that, if it stays what it actually is right now, a powerful but limited tool, the bet doesn't pay off. And that's also a crisis. When the AI companies default on their debt, stock valuations plummet. Credit tightens, layoffs spread outward. It wouldn't stay confined to tech any more than 2008 stayed confined to housing. Your savings, your retirement, and your entire industry, whatever you're in, would take the hit, whether or not you've ever opened a chatbot. Either way, you're the one left holding the bag. Heads, they win. Tails, you lose. Here's the part that turns this from an economic story into a moral one. If the bet pays off, the executives and the early investors cash out on the way up, long before the social cost of mass displacement lands on anyone else. If the bet fails, the people holding index funds, pensions, and 401ks eat that loss. Either way, the people who placed the bet and are positioned to steal our country's entire collective fortune are not the people who take the hit. This is not innovation policy. This is a leveraged bet with no guardrails against the entire American economy, placed with someone else's money, yours. So here's what I think we actually need. We need people in office who can read a systemic imbalance as fluently as they read the Constitution, who ask who's exposed and who's protected before the bill comes due, not in the press conference afterward explaining why nobody saw it coming. We need real transparency around AI debt. We need pension protections that don't assume index funds are automatically safe just because they're diversified on paper. And we need regulators willing to ask hard questions about deals where the lender, the customer, and the supplier all turn out to be the same handful of companies at trillion-dollar scale. You didn't get a vote on this bet, but you can still get a vote on whether anybody answers for it. Care, courage, the Constitution. Vote Melissa for Congress.